Welcome, fellow fans of Clash Royale. Thank you guys so much for stopping by Galadon Gaming today. I love the Goblin Barrel. What can I say? Finally showing a little diversity in my decks. I've been using this Goblin Barrel Giant Elixir Collector Barbarian. Well, you'll see it in a minute here as it unfolds in these battles. But having a lot of success and pushing past 4,000 trophies this season using the Goblin Barrel centric deck. Really, of course, it's not the only card doing damage to the opponent's towers, but I do love the fact that it's been reduced to 3 elixir, and despite the fact that it no longer has impact damage, if you can lure out your opponent's zap spell, which is all that most people carry these days that can counter it, then it is going to be a great card. Here I've got the Barbarians to stop the Royal Giant. I'm loving that strategy. They're going to get wiped out by the minions on the left, but in the meantime, down the right-hand side, the Giant trying to get there, can't get there either. The Princess does work on both lanes, and that worked out really well, helped me on both sides, and we cleared out this first wave. Nothing really happened. I did lose some hit points on my left tower, but that's okay. We're focused. Couple of level 13s going at it, and I've actually faced RX Bandit several times in the past, too many times and too long ago to recall who won. But I'm hopeful here that I can get that Goblin Barrel working, and I haven't exposed the card yet. Now check this out as we count down to the launch. 5, the Giant goes down. 4, right here, the Barbarians are going to take out the Miner without taking any damage at all to the Barbarians. And the countdown continues. 3, we drop some Goblins down to support those other units, and they all start to move together towards the bridge. Get ready for it. We're not done yet. Here it comes. 2, the Princess joins the rest of the group, and now I've got a massive push. His Barbarians just going to be smothered in the center of all these units. 1, the Goblin Barrel is going to try to join the rest of the units right as they get to the tower. Here he goes. Here they come. And as they converge on the tower, most of them still standing, we have liftoff. The tower is down, and we are not done yet. Everybody's still pushing hard against this level 13 player, and you know what happens after liftoff? After a successful afterburn, yes, you will achieve orbit, and that's what happens here, winning quickly 3 crowns to 0. Alright, I realized that countdown was pretty cringe-worthy, but I couldn't resist, and it was a lot of fun to get in there and 3 crown a fellow level 13 player so quickly. Every now and then the push just happens to come together perfectly, and that is what we saw right there. So in this next battle, I will be facing a double Prince deck. You can also see a couple of legendary cards there in his starting hand. And he's also got the Elixir Collector. I get mine out first. He takes out my Princess. Here comes the Prince charging at me. Going to go ahead and stomp him with the Giant right in front of the tower. And wishing I had a Miner or a Log, love the Log, wish I had the Log, to get rid of that Princess. She is going to get a lot of damage done before we finally get her out of the way. As you can see, it's going to take that single Spear Goblin, but here comes my Goblin Barrel landing on the tower. He didn't have a Zap spell or a Fireball or arrows up, so we did get a few hundred, in fact about 1,000 hit points in damage off that tower. It looked like the Prince was going to get there, didn't quite happen, luckily for me, and that's just trusting your tower's arrows to get the job done to save that very, very damaging charge. Alright, so we are down to under 2 minutes of the battle. My Princess is going to fall to the Ice Wizard, but you'll notice my opponent has not had a chance to pump yet. I've got 2 up. He fireballs my second one, but I still am going to have a pretty good elixir advantage for the next 30 seconds or so. So I'm trying to put together a push. There comes the Dark Prince. Here comes the Goblin Barrel in once again. And the Goblins plus the Princess doing a great job. The Spear Goblins as well. And the tower falls just before my last unit from that push gets taken out. So now it's back on defense. Double Prince coming at me. But the Giant is a great card to stop both Princes. We've got the minions in behind to work on them in the meantime. And that push quickly taken care of. We lost the Giant, but we don't have to worry about either Prince getting to the tower. We're just about down into double elixir. And again, my opponent has not yet dropped a pump, but it looks like he is getting ready to, and this is another reason I love the new and cheaper Goblin Barrel. At just 3 elixir, almost always is going to be a very good trade against an Elixir Collector. And there it goes back into the corner. Sometimes also hard to predict where it's going to land. The Goblin's getting a chance to work on that Collector. Now I throw a Fireball in for good measure, because at this point I really just want to make sure that he's not building any more elixir and doesn't have a chance to put together a huge push, because primarily right now I'm just focused on defense. Again, knowing he's going to come after this right lane, we are going to try to stop the double prince P.E.K.K.A push. There it is, the Goblin Barrel out to try to take down the princess. Probably not a good move. Definitely did not work out for me there. His minions and princess wipe out that Goblin Barrel, but somehow, some way, I am able to take down all of these units. Such a massive push. We stall them before they get to the tower. Time is going to count down. Double princesses on the defense, and that is it. A close 1-0 crown win. Lots of hit points left on the tower, but was so close that push almost could have tied things up. So next battle, this time facing a level 12, but so many of these guys, especially up above 4,000 trophies right now later on in the season, have maxed out cards. And this battle, definitely the closest of all the battles that you will see today. So I get the Elixir Collector down first, so does he. I love having the Elixir Collector first because so often right now we no longer see people making a big dramatic push right at the very beginning of a battle. They're more likely to sit back, try to run an Elixir Collector, or like you see dropping the princess there at the very back behind the king's tower. So Fireball right here, good value, gets the princess, the tower damage, and of course the Elixir Collector, so I'm happy about that. He's gone to a cannon already, so I'm going to go ahead and use the Goblin Barrel and just test out and see what he's got. If he's got a zap spell, I'm in trouble. There's the zap spell. Okay, so that didn't work out, but at least we know that the zap spell is there. And later on in this battle, we are going to have to wait until we've tried to lure out that zap spell on offense before we use the Goblin Barrel again, ideally. Now, we've got some cards like the minions that can do that. He's got a Goblin Barrel of his own. Unfortunately, I just have to drop the barbs back here and hope that they can turn into an offensive push. Barbs, obviously not a great reactive card. Now, he did drop his zap spell right there. So as soon as he used the zap, I knew it was time to drop the Goblin Barrel of my own, and check out the damage right there. The unobstructed Goblin Barrel damage almost wipes out that tower. These units finish it off, and that is what I'm talking about. The Goblin Barrel coming down to knowing what cards your opponent has in his hand and luring them out or waiting for him to make a mistake. That definitely a mistake there to zap my barbarians. Okay, the Fireball, I still don't know what I was thinking there. I throw up the oops. That really was a non-thinking Fireball right there. So I throw the Fireball, kind of a waste of elixir. But again, on defense, focused primarily. Okay, so back to back, just don't ask, okay? Don't go down in the comments and ask me why I did that Goblin Barrel there, why the Fireball went there. I just have no words. All right, let's move on and forget about it. I've got a lot of damage on his King's Tower. So right now, I'm really thinking, should we need to go into overtime if he ties this up, which it really looks like he probably will. He's taken my princess down. I am going to get the miner out of the way, but at under 1,000 hit points against a miner Goblin Barrel deck, I know that it's going to be difficult to stop him, but who knows? We'll see. We're just about to go into overtime. Here comes the Goblin Barrel behind the tower. The Fireball gets in there, but again, less than 400 hit points on that tower. Just another barrel that isn't immediately countered, or the miner right there, the miner gets in, gets the job done, and he's tied it up. So again, we know we have to try to grab another tower, but more likely we're going to go after the King's Tower, especially as we start to put this big push together. Twin giants moving in. The second giant doing a great job of getting to the tower. That princess, though, she's going to get so much splash damage done. The Goblin Barrel in there, all sorts of units are going to make it. Luckily, the Barbarians resistant to the princess's damage, and sure enough, 3 crowns once again with this deck. And I am loving myself some Goblin Barrel action right now. So the Goblin Barrel really joins the Miner and the Royal Giant as cards that can be deployed that are almost impossible to stop from getting damage on the towers. Tell me what you guys think. Are those 3 of your favorite or least favorite cards? What else would you like to see? I will push as high as I can with this deck this season and let you know the results. Thank you, as always, for sticking around, for subscribing, for hitting that thumbs up button. And I tell you what, let's meet up back here tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galadon, I tell you what, let's not and say we did.